Okay. I grew up in Abuja. I think if I should say what inspired me, it's my dad. So we grew up in a family of 6, and he worked at Dantata and Salway Construction Company for almost 20 years. So he worked there before starting his own construction company. So because of my dad's occupation, I was introduced to engineering, building, and different aspects of construction from a young age. So I remember when I was about 10 years old, I had a fight with my sister because she wanted to be a doctor. I also wanted to be a doctor. So we were going back and forth about it until I just decided that, do you know what? I'm going to be an engineer because daddy is an engineer. I know he'll put me through, he will be there for me, all of that. And just like that little argument actually shaped my path. And, here I am today. Well, I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. A typical work day starts at 7 a.m. I get to work around, let's say, 6:30. And 7 a.m. we start planning and coordinating. The first task is to outline the day's responsibilities for both office and sites operations. Site workers gather tools and materials they need for their work. The first hour typically is just preparation, ensuring a smooth start before work begins at 8 a.m. Once site operations are underway, I focus on my administrative and executive tasks. These include following up files and coordinating clients and processing payments, renewing permits, all of that, and also managing daily transactions. So all this to ensure, all our projects move seamlessly. We finished at, work closes at 5. So from 4:30, site workers start to make their way back to the office, and 5 o'clock, work closes for the day. Definitely male dominated. So most of our site workers are actually men. This is because we use operators to move our machineries and all of that. All the operators are men. So it's difficult to find women that can drive an excavator or move a ruler and all of that. So they are all men, but we encourage, if there's any woman that comes and she wants to be in that role, definitely they all go for testing. And once they test them and they see they can move these equipment, then definitely we employ. But typically site work, it's a male-dominated, zone, so it's all men there. But I think the women, they mostly serve as engineers, architects, or quantity surveyors. We have very good female land surveyors. So I think that's where we are thriving at the moment. I think professional bodies and the government need to recognize the contribution of both genders. We need to make appointments and assign duties without gender bias. And I think we're moving in the positive in this line, because for the first time, the president for Nigerian Society of Engineers is a woman. So it's something we celebrated at the NSC. And I think we need to inspire more young women. We need to tell them success stories about women in construction for them to, understand our line of work and be aware that, okay, this is somewhere I will be accepted, or this is somewhere, I will grow and be comfortable to be a part of. I think construction events are very important. Like something like this now, I think is very important because organizing events for skilled and unskilled women increases participation, interests, and even it empowers more women. So it reveals hidden talents and all of that. We need to be able to have organizations to have events where we can have a group of women come together, if not all women, come together, show, what they can do in different areas and promote it, literally give out prices and all of that. I think that would encourage a lot of people to come. I think the most significant barrier to gender equality is our mindset. We grew up with the idea that construction is a man's work or a male sector. So even in schools, you see the engineering courses, you see just 8 girls and maybe 64 boys. So we need to celebrate women in the industry, inspire people at primary and secondary level. That's, I think, the right time to get them. So we need to promote the industry in a more gender neutral light to be able to encourage participation. Women naturally have a lot of attributes that are relevant to leadership roles in this sector, like being detail-oriented, multitasking, being organized, calculative, and having the ability to encourage growth. So I think for us, it comes naturally. This is why in the banking sector now, we have, more female MDs and all of that. So above all, I think punctuality as well is very important. Showing up when you are needed and being available, I think is paramount. What I know in school, I think engineering in Nigeria is very different from engineering abroad, because abroad I noticed we're more technology oriented. So I learned a lot of building information modeling, a lot of cards. There's a lot of, computer-based work, unlike here. So when I came back to Nigeria, I had to do, I wouldn't say unlearning, but I had to learn some other things afresh instead of, using the skills I learned from school to, promote to promote our work. But still, I think it's just very different. And still coming back home, I just had to now do a lot of learning, literally. So that's the big difference for me. I think the Women Affairs Commission or the Ministry of Women Affairs has a lot of work to do that's, we are not really feeling as women in this industry. I checked on their policies and it has to do with a lot of, gender equality and all of that. I think this is where they need to come in. When you talk about, procurement for jobs for women, this is where we need the industry to advocate for us as women. So there needs to be some kind of synergy between construction companies or construction organizations, professional bodies, and this ministry to be able to advocate for women, to create policies that says, okay, when you talk about procurements, some certain jobs should be just assigned to women to encourage women, to encourage participation and all of that. So that is where I think that's the most effective way, this can, come to play. My advice to women just starting out is to believe in themselves. This industry can be tough for women. It's a male-dominated industry, but skills, determination, and willingness to, do the work is very important. And I think that will set them apart from the rest. Find mentors who can guide you, ask questions, and take on challenges that push you forward. Speak up for yourself, take on leadership roles when the opportunities come, and don't let stereotypes hold you back, literally. So I think with all of this and active participation in construction events, I think women, have a foot, or should I say a seat at the table. I try to restrict work to weekdays and then leave weekends as, leisure and, all of the other things, so that there is some kind of balance, because the construction work can be demanding for women, especially when you have a family, So construction is not just, yes, we are at, should I say, a leadership level or a managerial level, but at the lower level where we have engineers, we have quantity surveyors, we need their attention at every moment. Sometimes we need them to travel out of the state and all of that. So I think that's why it's more favorable sometimes to employ men, because you can just call them to go to Ekiti or to go to another state tomorrow, and they will just, pack their bags and go. Well, when you want to call women, there's always this, oh, I have a family, or there's always an excuse, or all of that. So it's really hard to balance. Like I said, it's a tough job, but we have to pick up the slack, try and make sure we have a balance. So I try to do that by just, keeping work as work for weekdays, doing all I have to do in the weekdays, and then keep my weekends to, every other thing. I would like to say Happy Women's Day. It's not an easy job being a woman. And I always say maybe in my next life I wouldn't be a woman, because women have it. We have a lot that we put on the table. And, I wish everybody would understand, the benefits or the impact that we make in the industry and even in life. It's a lot of work. So congratulations on this beautiful day. I wish you progress. I wish you growth. I wish you increase. And, I pray we'll have so many more Women's Day programs to celebrate together, and many blessings.